for you to see in terms of the operating system. Last time in terms of the computer and organization. Okay, that's why I think maybe we can like also speed up a bit, especially in terms of the theory, in terms of definition. It's going to be quite boring because most of you already learned it in a COA subject. Okay, we go through a bit one by one. We can start. Last time I showed you also what is the objective for our first module and what will be covered. You can see it's quite many for you to cover in the module 1. It's having here organization, architecture, structure and operation. Mostly this one you already cover in COA. So I hope that if you are having test 1, which is covered from module 1, I hope that most of you can score it full mark, especially for the question. Because you have learned double, 2 times, 2 times. From COA, OS also you learn similar things. So of course your understanding will be much more deeper. Okay, we see first on what operating system do. So you have your own computer currently, you have your own PC, personal computer and whatever you are having now. You need to have OS. Without OS, you cannot do anything in between. So OS normally it's not here. Where is the statement? Okay, after this in the definition, it's going to mention that it is intermediary things or a third party. So later I think we're going to share about how you experience using a third party. Okay, the operating system control your hardware and also it's going to coordinate the various program that available in your computer. So it's depend on you if you like to know more deeper in your computer architecture and also system, then you might be things that it is interested. But if you think like you don't like to know deeper in what computers are having because you just a normal user, so that's why you will feel like okay, this one I don't need no need for me to know. The most important throughout, you need to know there is 2 viewpoint. First is the user. Normally, you are looking at this one. You as a normal user, you normally see this. I hope that you master this one. But there is another point view, which is from the perspective of the system. Normally, this one, last time you know, it is more related to the programmer. How the programmer can see the flow of the operating system. Alhamdulillah. Okay, this is the things that I said is repeated from your COA. But in terms of the user view, this is what you see. You see your PC, you see your workstation. What is workstation? Please make sure you remember back. This one, all these finishes were already been given in the COA. It is a single user computer. You need to know PC and workstation is different. In terms of what different? And another one more thing is multi-user computer. This one, mainframe, computer server. If you look back into your COE, you can see everything already been studied. You can see mini computer, mainframe, and about the PC and workstation. It is basically, you can see it's quite similar. This is your PC. This is also, you call it as a PC, but it is more powerful compared to your PC. Similar also when you have, okay, this one is single user, single user. And for your mainframe and mini computer, although it's called as mini computer, but it is not mini, you can see here, it is for a multi-user. This is also for multi-user. So that's why you learn here in this OS subject, in perspective of user view, what you're going to see. You're going to see single user computer. What is this? So what is the example of single user computer? And a multi-user computer, what is the example? This one all of you already learned. So if you you answer that you forgot already, so please make sure you refer back to your COA notes and slide. Everything's already been touched. Similar also on your handheld computer. I just asked a question about this. It is related to smartphone or tablet. If in under COA, it is called as a mobile device. Mobile device. What is called mobile? Because it is remotely, it can move around. That's why we call it as a mobile. Device is, of course, is a device. We have another one is embedded computer. What is embedded computer? Example is also similar, which is a computer, but it is in a home device or automobile. So what is the use of this embedded computer? It is like a user interface or UI that have numeric keypad. Of course, you have a keypad to key in and as a hardware. A method indicator light on or off to show status. Might be, it can be your remote icon. Maybe it can be, this one is also can call as a computer because it can be trigger something to your icon, to your television. So they have also their own operating system. If not, they cannot work. Okay, so this is all the user view that you need to know, which is all the example you have done in your COA subject. Okay, no need to go too deeper. So this is the perspective of user view. But for the system view, perspective from the computer point of view, the operating system is programmed most intimately involved with hardware. There are two views, okay? Under system view, there are only two, which is resource allocator and another one control program. I think you normally familiar with your control program at your PC. So you can try to explore what is in the control program. And about a resource allocator, what is the function? It manages all the resources, decided between conflict requests for efficient and a fair resource use. So now you can see this is the things I mentioned just now. A computer that acts as a intermediary between a user of a computer and computer hardware. This is you and this is your computer. To run the computer, this one of course inside this, but this is the third party or intermediary between you and a computer. Without this, you cannot run your computer. Okay, let me ask you, in your daily activities, what third party that you always use? Anyone? What do you think that you always do and use for the intermediary?
Windows.
Windows. That one is in terms of your computer. It is not about computer. Your daily activities. What do
Oh,
you, what do you think that you are using for third party?
Office.
Office to be as a third party for? Okay, last time, previous section they share that his third party is Shopee. So that he can buy things, and the third party is Shopee or intermediary is Shopee to others company or seller, so that they can buy something. So it is intermediary. Without a Shopee, you cannot buy the things, isn't it? Similar also, without a OS, you cannot run your computer. What else? I already give you example. What is the third party that you are normally use?
Maybe headphones.
Like Food Panda, right?
Again, full time.
No, Food Panda.
Full attendant.
Food Panda, Doctor. Food
Oh, Food
Panda.
Panda. Food Panda. Okay, Food Panda also can be here. Food Panda, Grab, isn't it? Okay, that is the third party for you to buy food. Of course, you're going to think about food only, yeah. What else? Maybe
My Sejatra.
My Sejahtera for you to what?
To access any shop or anything, anywhere.
Okay,
It's
that
like,
one is just give you an update about your status, isn't it?
yes, yes, Doctor.
Okay, we also in our life, we always use third party intermediary because of the trust. Okay, one example might be you cannot see is, okay, this is you, and you have another three friend, might be Abu, Ali, Ahmad, and this is you. Okay, you go for shopping together and go for shop, eating together at the restaurant, and then one of you are paying the what, paying the food, and all of others will pay directly to you later on, isn't it? But they don't have a cash. Sometimes if normally they're going to say, okay, I'm going to transfer to you. So they're going to have third party. Who is the third party? Bank. So this is the always referring for you. You always say that, okay, you will trust bank, because if I want to transfer money to my friend, I have bank. Bank is the intermediary person for me, because I trust bank and the issue will be direct go to my friend. Why you need this? Similar also why you need operating system. So sometimes there is an advantage, sometimes there is a disadvantage. If you have like operating system, of course you need to have it, but you need to like install, you need to have like architecture on top of it, because you need to organize. That is what our government are currently. You have like prime minister, you have all the ministers, so all is this is the architecture. Without all the architecture, you cannot have a government. Similar also your computer, without the architecture you cannot have this. But later on, which is not in terms of operating system, you can remove this bank. You can remove the intermediary person. You can remove any third party, because sometimes when you want to transfer money from Malaysia to like US, so when you transfer, it's going to take 3 days or more, and even you need to pay some extra fee. So that is the third party are doing. You need to give something in return. But there is a technology currently you can use blockchain. Blockchain is not a Bitcoin, okay? Blockchain is not a Bitcoin. Just to inform you that might be when I said about blockchain, you said, blockchain. Blockchain is Bitcoin, right? This is not good. No, I just talk about blockchain technology, which is later on you can remove third party. You can directly pay to your friend, whatever. Also later on when you have let's say Food Panda, okay? Just said about Food Panda. When you have blockchain, okay, now you don't know, okay, about Food Panda. Might be when you buy the food, okay, you can see at the Food Panda or might be at the Grab that the rider are moving, then sometimes it stop. You don't know what is happen in the middle until it is reached at your home. So with the blockchain later on, you will know exactly what will happen throughout all of this, and it is secure for you. No need for you things like, oh, might be this Food Panda are attacking my food somewhere else and do something to my food. So they cannot do anything by blockchains. So that is just things under the intermediary things, because what I can see that all of us are okay to have this, but a computer, we are okay to have operating system. Might be later on you can remove this operating system. Maybe there is something like beyond of this, because we are the human who develop technology. Now we need operating system to run our computer, okay, as the intermediary between we as a user and also computer. So the aim of the operating system to solve user problem, execute program when you have a window, when you have words, you have pen, you have Photoshop, you have After Effects, whatever a program that you are available, it help you to execute and run it. Might be later on you can be the first programmer who did on develop a computer without OS. I don't know, maybe you can like develop that, is already installed directly all the program, and all your program are didn't needed any operating system. So who knows, right? So make the computer system convenient to use. Use the computer hardware in a efficient manner. So you can see here you have 3 points. Might be you can tackle how lecturer can give and set up question for tests. Said, okay, lecturer cannot ask me directly. Okay, last time, if me myself, we are having a face-to-face exam. Of course, this is like the paper, final exam paper. It is very cliche. In the beginning of question, it will ask, what is definitions? Because we need to write it down. But you are having an online exam. We cannot ask you in terms of this. That's why we give you A, B, C. So that is advantage for you. Only that you need to remember. Let's say we cannot give you directly what is operating system. Instead, we will say, is it correct or not for the statement? A program is, maybe I put here, not intermediary. So is it correct or not? False or true? So that is the type of question that can be asked in your test. And then after that, for operating system, you can see 1, 2, 3. Maybe we will ask which is not the aim or the goal for the operating system. We give A, B, C, and then we pick another one like D as a wrong answer. So this supposedly you're going to answer. So instead of just learn everything here in the slide, while learning, while reading, please make sure you try to be as a lecturer. How, if you are a lecturer, from this slide, you need to come up with the question. Then you can tackle, oh, this is how the question will. So you spot lah, and then you said, I think this kind of question will come up in the test. Okay, test will be only cover from your slide. It's not going to come in from like Google definition or others resources. Okay. Computer system structure. This one also you already learned. If you still remember about computer, especially for the structure, you still remember that you need to have input, process, output, and storage. Sometimes it's directly go to your display. Sometimes you need something to store and then reprocess. So this is the basic thing about computer. Here, you learn on hardware thing, which is also related to your input-output device. So you can see here, this is your input-output. You have the memory. Where is your memory? Memory is supposedly on your storage. And CPU, where is located? It is located at your process. All of these are also having the hardware, but sometimes they also need a operating system as a software. Okay. So last time you learn in terms of might be in the surface. Now you go to the deeper type of a computer structure. So hardware that you can also needed in your computer system, for component hardware, operating system, which is related to your software things, application program. So what program that you need to have, which is your application, words, compiler, web browser, your Google, Firefox, games. So all is under application. And lastly, user, which is your people, machine or other computer that try to operate your computer. So this is the fourth thing that you need to remember about computer system structure. This one is in terms of diagram. So this is the user. And then you have here the application. After that, you have the operating system. And lastly, you have the computer hardware. So here there is several other definition. I'm not going to read it about operating system. You can explore more also in Google what is operating system. Unless you still did not understand, you can ask a question, what is basically operating system? Now you have you know that operating system is the basic before you can install. When you buy a laptop, I think nowadays when you buy a laptop, it's already help you install basic application in your computer. But last time, sometime to reduce a cost, we ourselves will install our operating system, because if we want them to install the Microsoft, sometimes there is extra charges. Okay, so we know that, okay, we need to install operating system first. Might be we want to use Windows, might be we want to use Linux, iOS, depend on devices also. After we have operating system, then we can install the program. And if you are familiar with Linux, you always will bump it in with the words of kernel. Kernel, daemon. So similar also in our Windows, we have several version. So that will be also related to our computer window. So we have a system program and application program. Okay, who have tried to see Bootstrap? Who's here having a experience, look into or might be play around with your Bootstrap? Who know what is Bootstrap? Tak tahu ke? Seriously?
Don't know, Doctor.
You never done that before in your computer? Anyone have experience? Like Bios, yeah.
Yes, one time.
Okay, when you restart or you start your computer, sometimes you need to click F9 or F10. I forgot which one. You can check. Then you're going to go to the, is it BIOS or boots? So you will be getting like a looks of black color, and then the written character will be like in term of gray or green. So it's totally look like really a programming looks. So you can try to do it. Okay, before that, I think for us, all person, we didn't have a virtual machine last time. Virtual machines, virtual box, we don't have. So that's why when we want to have Linux, we want to have Windows in one computer. Of course, we cannot afford to buy many laptop, isn't it? So we want Windows, we want also Linux. So what we need to do, we need to divide our partition, doing a partition on our computer. So how we divide and do the partition? One is Windows, another one will be Linux. Now, for all of you, you just having Windows, and then you install virtual machine on top of it. Inside the virtual machine, you can install others OS like Linux and etc. Right? But older, what we do is similar now. You can also did it if you want to. You do the separate partition, and then when you start your computer, you're going to press F9 or F10, I forgot. Then you will have the screen to choose which operating system that you want to start. So let's say this is Linux, so I need to point here that it will load Linux, not Windows. That is happen. You can do it for now also, because sometimes virtual machine is quite heavy. But I think for if you separate the partition, it's not going to be like very slow, because this one is require you more space, I think. It's depend, but you can try to check what happen if you click to check your Bootstrap. And nowadays, your computer is going to be very fast. Last time, when we tried to reboot, okay, restart our computer, we need to wait for a while, like about 3 seconds until it pop out our window. Also, it will be loading until all the application is pop up already. So we can start. So while waiting, sometimes we feel bored, okay? Because it will took several seconds to loading. But sometimes when it's loading, at the time I will do something else, so I forgot and miss the second for me to click the F9. So when I miss, so it will be by default. Sometimes I point as Windows as by default, but I want to use Linux. So what I need to do, I need to restart again to click and then to select which booth that I want to open. So that is the function bootstrap program. You have also many others in that, not only for the separating your OS, but sometimes there is also setting that you can do using your bootstrap program. Okay, so typically it store the ROM or EPROM. This one you also already cover module 1 COA subject, which is generally called from by firm-wide. It's better for you to master a basic COA before you go deeper in your OS. So please take note and try to look back your previous note. Okay. Computer system operation. As mentioned, this keyword you normally going to look into in the Linux later on, but this is normal for operating system. When you have actually your kernel is loaded and execute, it can start providing a service. You don't know anything about kernel before this, maybe because you just know, okay, I restart my computer and then I can use. But basically what it is loading for your operating system is the kernel itself in your Windows. So some services provide outside of the kernel, okay, similar to like Linux, because you need to manually install the kernel. You can install directly in your Linux. Sometimes you can also install outside. But in the window, I think it is already packaged everything. That's why you don't know about this. And it become a system processes or a system daemon that run entire time the kernel is running. What else? Okay, on Unix, the first system process is init. This one also you have known about this. No need for us to go deeper. Next, over here, you have computer system architecture, which is supposedly you already master with the architecture of the computer. First, you have single and multi-processor. This is the only two different. Later on, you can see also you have single and multiple processor. What is the difference? In a single general, which is purpose of processor, most of system have a special purpose processor as well. But when you are dealing with a multiprocessor, there is several things that you need to know, and sometimes it's called as parallel system, which is why you need to have this. Okay, before I go deeper in this, you can see the correlation between subject. Now, as previously you are learn COA. Now you are playing around with OS. You can see also all there is a keyword that going to be related. Later you're going to learn HPC or HPPC subject, which is related to parallel system. High performance parallel computer, something like that. So sometimes there is no performance high parallel computer. So it is related to parallel system. Our computer currently are using a parallel system. You can see here we are using peripherals or parallel system. That's why later you're going to learn HPC. But I think HPC is not you can choose which subject you can take. It's not compulsory, I think, but you need to pick different other subject if you don't want to take HPC. The advantage, increase the throughput, economy of scale, increase reliability, and under multiple processor, you have semantic and asemantic multiple processor. Last time in your COA, when you are looking at the single processor, you know that it is the old method of computing. Where is it? I forgot which one. Okay, you can see multi-core and also a single which one? So you can see that you are having similar thing inside your OS, which is you are looking at the single processor and also multi-processor is also similar in what we have learned in COA. And you need to have semantic and asemantic multi-processor, and most of your computer currently are using this one. I don't think that you are using a single processor anymore. And this is example single processor. You have your main memory here. Inside this, if you still remember, this is your process. You are having three important things. If you still remember in your COA, sorry for first or second module, I think you always need to refer back. Okay, you can see here. This is very important for you to remember under COA subject. Processor, you have ALU, CU, and register. Now, similar thing. We're going to learn it in your OS. You have register, CPU, which is ALU, and cache. You still remember that you have inside your memory, right? This one, I guess, chapter 5, 6, 7, you learn about cache. Okay, this one, if you are play around, kenapa I punya ni tak gerak Okay. This one, if you are playing around with a single processor, this is how it looks like, one only. But when you have a multi-processor, you can have a CPU 0, CPU 1 in one device, in one computer. Let's say this is your computer. This is all inside, multiple. But in terms of this multiple, you can also having single. You can see this is single, but in terms of multi-single, this one have 1, 2, 3, and then maybe you can have another's, but the main memory are not connected to all the CPU. It will be a multiprocessor when one main memory are connected and divided into several CPU. Okay, you can see it's very clear in terms of the differentiation, single processor, multiprocessor, and multi-single processor. And in terms of multi-core system, so multi-core system, you have multiprocessor system. Ya Allah, hilang dah saya punya pen. Which is called as multicore. Okay. Siapa yang nak tanya? Nabil, your computer using how many core? Your laptop. Nabil? I pun tak tahu. Your computer are using how many core?
10 core, doctor.
What again? 2 core.
Sorry, doctor, can you please repeat?
My question is, your computer are using how many core? What core you are using currently for your processor?
She meant quad core or octa core or core to duo.
Mana boleh bagi jawapan? You share your answer with your friend ah. Vico King. What is your name?
Pico, doktor.
Vico. Laptop you berapa core?
8 kalau
Wah,
if I'm not mistaken, 8.
wah 8 sekarang. The highest core nowadays is what?
Check.
Last
If I'm
time,
not mistaken, last month I checked 8 or 4. I don't remember.
last time I thought 7 is the highest.
Yeah, I forget.
My computer, just now I just checked, I have a Core i5. Core 5. It's already 8 ah. It's okay. So that is about your core. You can see none of us I think are using single processor anymore.
Doctor, the highest is 64
Doctor,
now.
Doctor, I
64?
have a question.
Yeah.
That's what is a system, right? 32 and 64-bit system.
And there's also a 64 core, doctor.
64 core by AMD.
How much? How much?
Thousands of dollars.
Aduh, my computer is just 5. I think it's already quite expensive. The core,
Doctor, are you talking about the name like i5, i3?
yeah, yes.
We are talking about something different, like it's the core, like quad core, octa core,
Oh, that
hexa
one.
core.
Yeah.
We are talking something different.
About the 16.4 core is what?
That one is by AMD.
Oh, AMD.
Like for Intel, the maximum is Core i9, but for AMD it's different.
Oh, I thought because I'm familiar with Intel. So last time I heard that it's just i7. Now it's already i9.
Yes, doctor. Yes.
Okay, it's okay. So I think I already I just bought my computer last 2 years. I think it's more fast now. Okay, that is a dual core with a 2 core placed in the same chips. This is an example similar also with here. And a multi-core processor, a multiprocessor, a multi-core here. Kenapa I punya pen tak keluar? Everything you already also look into your COS subject. So no need for us to directly go one by one, because this segment also you already learn in your module 6 or 7 in terms of cache. You can see if you still remember that you have L1 and L2. And another one, simultaneous multi-threading or hyper-threading. How to tackle all of this, I think you need to look into on the definition, and when you are looking that you have, I am drawing but it's not coming out. Okay, if you look that you have something pointing up like 2 or 3 or 4 definition to others or tasks and so on, it's very important for you to memorize. Okay, in terms of this one, this picture also, I think you already look in the COA also. There is a evolutions of the processor. Okay, this one is the computer last time generation, first generation. And if you still remember this one, you have done all of this also. Here is the processor that have a Pentium until Core 7 there. That's why I said it is more repetition, but it's one not full enough, I think. So you can refer back to your COE subject. Now let's take a move to the cluster system. This one I think it is quite new for you. And here you have high performance computing. This is the things that you're going to take in year 3. In year 3, you're going to take this subject. So there is a correlation between each other. What programming? I forgot what programming you're going to deal with. MPI. MPI. Another one is what? There is 2 things that you're going to learn under high performance computing. Okay, before we go until here, this is about network. When you say a cluster system, like a multi-core system, a multi-system working together, and usually it's going to store via store area network, which is called SAN. For a network, as you are a computer student, it's good for you to know all type of network. We have LAN, LAN, we have WAN, we have PAN, a personal area network, wide area network, local area network, wireless local area network. So all of this network, supposedly you know what is the function also, although you are not cover it in any of the subject might be. But as a computer system, a computer science student, everything related to network, especially if you are SCSR student, you need to know all networks that available. What network that you are currently dealing with. So all of that also related. So one of these is called as storage area network, which is SAN. And cluster system provide high availability, and it's also similar with others. So you can see it's divided into asymmetric cluster and symmetric cluster. Last time you have asymmetric asymmetric multiprocessing and semantic multiprocessing. Now you have clustering. Some clusters are used for HPC. Okay, this one we are normally used for our computer. That's why you need to learn HPC later on. And it must written using parallelism. That's why your course will be high performance parallel computing, HPPC. Some have distribute log or called as DML. Maybe you can try to find where is your log manager. Okay, this is in terms of SAN. SAN. Storage area network. How the structure look like? Later on, maybe you can try Google also how PAN look like, how WLAN LAN look like? How the value AN look like? So in terms of SAN, storage area network, it's directly will connect to the computer. It's not going to connect to any like access point, any of the router, or might be the hub and etc. But storage area network, you can see it's directly to the computer. And when you have a computer, you need to have interconnections to connect to each other. Okay, in your computer, although you have like processor, inside a processor, you have ALU, you have register, you have CU, isn't it? Similar also in your body. You have liver, you have heart. Heart is one of, if you refer to your computer, it's going to be a processor. But what inside your computer is the heart? Okay, can I know? Hassan Adia, you learn already COA. I believe that in the test, in the final exam, it asks you the heart of the computer. What is the heart of your computer? Hello? Are you all here? Mana dia? Mana dia pergi? Student tu. Hassan Adia. Hassan Adia, are you here? Dekat sini tak boleh nak kick ke? Macam mana yang nak kick? Participant. Sekejap ya, I try tengok. Kita tak boleh kick boleh kot? Okay. So, I ask different student. Brandon,
Yes, doctor.
what is the heart of the computer?
The CPU.
Yes, I know the CPU. What is the core heart? Dalam CPU there is a lot, right? Macam ALU.
I think the microprocessor.
Microprocessor. Ahmad Mahyudin, you rasa? What do you think?
ALU kot doktor.
Masa dulu you belajar, jawapan dia memang CPU je. Dia tak ada tanya directly kat dalam Okay, generally Brian said CPU is correct. But inside the CPU also you have several others, right? So that is the thing that I want to mention here. You have heart, you have liver, you have kidney, you have a lot of others things in your bodies. But you can see that without a connection, without a vein, tanpa urat-urat yang menyambungkan that connected you with others organ in your body, you cannot have a function. Similar also your computer. When you have a CPU, when you have a hardware for input output, when you have a storage, you need to have a interconnections. And normally under COA subject, what you call the interconnection, you're going to call as a system bus, isn't it? Remember lagi ke tak bus system that you have? Ataupun you dah lupa, this is a bus. Bus that pick you from your college to School of Computing. This is not his, okay? For your computer, you still have a system bus. So in terms of the interconnection. And now you have the operating system structure. Single user cannot keep CPU and input-output device busy at all time. Multi-programming, organized job, which is including your code, the data. Sekejap ya, I rasa kawan ni tadi dia WhatsApp dekat WhatsApp group kot. Oh, bukan. COA. Harap semua pelajar dah dimaklumkan. Oh, this one COA. Did I inform you about the test date?
What test?
Test 1, test 2? Not yet, right? Bila I lupa.
Well, Ramadan, I think.
Is it the 23rd of April, Doctor?
I don't know. Maybe you can also ask your friend. Later I will double check with coordinator because we already fixed the date for all of you, okay? So it will be parallel, similar with other section. Only that this course or coordinator asked me to inform all the students. Okay. So please remind me, or maybe you can ask your clique, others from other section, when will be your test, and also test 1, test 2, and final exam. No, test 1, test 2 is already given the fixed date for all of you. Okay, now we have here on the structure. Okay, it's fine. A subset of total job system is kept in memory. So you have batch system and also time sharing. For batch system, one job selected and run via job scheduling. I think for your computer, you can also having several job scheduling available. You can check also. Maybe you can try to find OS job scheduling to check what job or task that you are having currently in your computer. Time sharing system, this one is like very easy for you to understand. Sometimes you have dual boots, you are having a time sharing system. Sometimes you have also multiple computer, but you are referring to the similar time sharing. And memory layout for multi-program system. This one is you have the operating system. Might be you are opening your job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4, which is your task. Okay, let me try to open it. This is, I think, normally you are looking at for your task manager. I have several tasks. Basically, I just run 3 program here. Google Chrome, Microsoft PowerPoint, and the task manager itself. So this is job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4. Please try to explore also looking at the program. Don't just open your task manager to end or kill because you cannot manually close the program because sometimes it's hang, right? So normally you're going to like end task. So it will be force your application to end. So maybe you can check also your CPU, what is happening inside, how about your memory. So everything is also good for you to know. Similar also about your Wi-Fi. If you are later on going to do your PSM, which is related to the signal strength. So this one is very important. You're going to have the send and receive signal strength, how many is it. You're going to change it into bandwidth, negative 100 dB or whatever numbers that you're going to have. Okay. Mana? Okay, here. So in terms of time sharing, it's also referred as a multitasking. Response time should be less than 1 second. I think every single thing, not only for the time sharing, you will have this kind of thing nowadays. Unless you are having a lower spec of your laptop or computer, of course, sometimes there will be a delay. But for normal computer, it's going to take like millisecond. That's why when you blink a eyes, 1 second, then suddenly it's already have done everything. So sometimes when you have very good computer, you're going to have even nanosecond in terms of your program. Scheduler sweeping. Okay, this one is not important. Okay, we move to the operating system. System operation. Just now we learned there is a kernel. What is basically this kernel? Okay, there is two mode of operation. User mode or kernel mode. Normally you are using normal user mode. Maybe you can try to explore how to use your kernel mode. And the mode will be between 0 or 1, which is provided by your hardware. Provide ability to distinguish when system is running using either your code or also the kernel code. So maybe you can try looking into using how to use Windows without using a user mode, and then you play around only like maybe you want to open your Microsoft Windows but using fully kernel mode. And some instruction designed as privileged, only executables in the kernel mode. So maybe you can try to find out what program that you can execute. Okay, what is the difference between user and kernel? Okay, if the user, you normally going to call a program, user process execution. Maybe you want to open your words. So you double click at your Microsoft Word and then you try to call your Microsoft Word to open. But what happened inside? This is the things that your kernel are doing. So it will be this thing you can see, you just see your user mode, suddenly it's already pop up your Microsoft Words. Written from the system call. It will be like maybe you get error or maybe it's already open your Microsoft Word. But inside, who going to approve you to open? So it will be processed by a kernel. It will be process and execute the request from you, and then it will be written back to your user mode, and you see this one. So everything here you cannot see, and this all process even sometimes millisecond. Of course it's millisecond because you have a very good computer nowadays and it's going to be speed up. Suddenly just 1 second is already open your Microsoft Word. Okay, normally you cannot see all of this. At the system boot time, the hardware start a kernel mode. Okay, this one you can see this. Maybe you can try the kernel mode. You open and click F9 or F10. This one try to check on Google how to open the boot time. So in terms of the hardware protection, Privileged instruction can be issued only on kernel mode. This is the things that similar repetition over here only can executable in the kernel mode. What is the privileged instruction? So here is the things. First is input-output instruction. Halts changing execution modes. Second, instruction to modify content of memory management related to the register and timer. And third is instruction to switch interrupt service to on or off. Maybe also, I think, okay, for changing the setting, normally for user mode also can, right? So it is not a privileged instruction, I guess. So beside using dual mode to protect the hardware by having privileged instruction, other type of hardware protections are you're going to have input-output protection, memory protection, CPU protection, and lastly kernel mode. And then about the timer, to prevent process to be initiate loop. So a timer is going to be used, which is a hardware device. It's depend on hardware also. Timer can be also count. This one is, if you still remember, count. When you think about count, it's always referring to the counting. That is the decrement by physical clock. Timer is set to interrupt the computer after time period, and OS set to set the counter where there is a privileged instruction. And fourth one, when counter reach to value 0, which is because you are counting down, an interrupt is generated. And lastly, OS set the value of counter before scheduling process to regain control or terminate the program that execute. Okay, that is on the things under operating, which is system operation. After that, you're going to look into protection, security, process management, memory management, storage management, which is still more on the theory basis. So I don't want to make you more bored looking at all the theories here. Maybe we can go through first what you going to look in. I'm not going to do it in the class, I think. This one, the thing that I just mentioned, or just now I forgot about mine. So maybe later on, you can try to explore more in terms of network. LAN, WAN, MAN, PAN, just now SAN, or you have another one. So most of this you can see and look into, okay? I stop first at 5 here, and we're going to continue after this. So while having a refreshment, maybe you can go to the ladies. We can talk about a network here. When you are dealing with the network, okay? Networks nowadays, LAN, WAN, MAN, PAN, all of these, normally you are going to have the central bodies. You're going to have a server. And mostly when you are dealing with also internet, you're going to have the third parties, which is the internet provider. If you are using Unify, Unify is your third party that provide you with the internet. If you are using Maxis, Cellcom, this is all the internet provider for you, isn't it? So this is the third party. Similar also, all of these, mostly you're going to have somebody or centralize to centralize everything. Might be you did not pay for your Unify. What happened? These bodies will terminate and close your activities to use the internet. So all the network later on, you're going to learn that there is needed a third party or a server or something that very architecture looks. Okay. Okay, just go through. You can see over here later on you find also about augmented reality. That will be a good things for you to explore. Embedded and hybrid. But this one you already look and already familiar. Bash system, interesting system. This one also, if you still remember, you already learned also about this. The rest input output, this one you already learned in COE. Okay, so starting from 6 until the rest, I'm going to make a video because it's quite boring for you to just learn all the information, theory in the class. So in the class, we're going to have the question answer later on for all of you after you watch the video that I will upload it into your e-learning. Is it okay? So
Yes,
hope
doctor.
that you're going to stand by to watch the video and also read your notes for module 1. Okay, any question? Why? Sometimes there is also question from previous student. Why we need to learn something like similar? Because you already learned it mostly in your COA subject. So why you need to also learn now in your OS? The answer is just now. One of your friend also already forgot what is mobile device. So that's why in the beginning of the new subject, normally it's going to be some refreshment for you to go slowly deeper and deeper to directly to OS subject. That's why you need to know something that having a relationship from your previous subject. Okay, so hope that our OS, there is no hard copy books. You can always check back the module, everything I already uploaded in your e-learning. And please make sure also you try to look back on COA subject. Okay, all the module, because mostly it's related to COA. And if you can score and you fully understand COA, you can score higher in OS. Because the basic is there. Before you can go further, you need to know the basic. Okay, for those who still not scan the QR code, please scan so. While waiting your friend to scan, maybe you can share whatever you think you have in mind, especially for this subject, or whatever you want to ask me. Any question, you can ask me now. Anyone in UTM already?
Yes.
Who's talking?
Yes.
Siapa yang tengah bercakap ni? Oh, Om Jibat
Kashfi.
nak know. Hasri.
Kashfi.
Okay, Kashfi, where are you staying?
KTR, Termaza.
Okay, now you already know Meranti, isn't it?
Meranti, Cengal.
Cengal. Okay. Did you come to School of Computing?
Um, just looked at it, not stepped in yet.
Okay. What do you find? How long you been here?
Just got here. First time.
No. How long? Maybe it's already like 3 days?
Yeah, only 2 days ago.
2 days ago. So what you explore here?
Just looked at like some interesting places. I just took a walk, looked at the Google Maps, see what's up.
When you use Google Map,
Uh,
what do you find inside the Google Map? Did they inform like School of Computing, School of Mechanical?
yeah.
Oh, in the Google Map.
Maybe some not there, but I think I saw computing, school of computing.
Oh.
I know where it is now.
Mm. You go to the lake?
The lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Mm.
It was beautiful.
Okay. At the lake, maybe you can go fishing at evening. And then mostly you can see at the evening, student jogging,
Yeah,
cycling, isn't it?
yeah. I saw some people fishing, not at the lake. Some other place. I'm not sure.
Huh? Where is it? In front of
Uh,
in front of the lake also, right? Opposite.
yeah. There's another part, right? It's like a long lake, a long like river or something.
Did they get fish or not?
Not sure. I didn't look that long.
Okay. Because last time I try also at there, but nothing. There is no fish that eat my. Maybe I using breads only. So ikan tilapia je yang normally makan breads, right? And then last time I dapat, not me, my son get quite big, lebih besar daripada tapak tangan ni. Ikan apa? Ikan talam. But the fish is very beautiful. Dia macam shiny tu. Ikan tu
Did you
tak.
eat it?
My son eat it. My son eat it. But because it is in the lake, so you need to carefully because it is smelly, right? Uh,
Yes.
there is a lot of tilapia there. You can see that some of kids can get. Sometimes it's a big fish also they get when they are fishing.
I see.
So you are just walking. Did you go for rental the bicycle?
Not yet. I was just walking. I saw the bicycle place, so maybe I might sometimes.
Okay. Everyone here try to rent the bicycle?
Not yet.
Not yet, because I need to know because some of your senior also are doing mobile application for UTM uh, rental bicycle. They like try to improve the rental bicycle system. Maybe they want to track where is the bicycle go. Sometimes might be you lost also the bicycle, so that is happen. So maybe you also will having idea later on explore in term of UTM, mobile application, might be a social media between communication between student. Now you are doing using apa orang panggil tu yang warna biru tu? You all selalu guna apa application yang untuk discuss with your friend?
Discord.
Discord. Discord you think that it's very fashionable, right? Might be lah for you, but I never tried before. But maybe you can do it just for UTM student, not for like others. So it will be good also for you in future. Who knows, right? So no one is going to scan the QR code anymore? If no, I think I hope that you're going to continue reading the module 7, and then I'm going to share you later on for the video recording. So if there is no question, we're going to end our class now, and we're going to meet again later on next week, isn't it? For those who already come to UTM,